welcome to the October 14 edition of Local Spins on WICE, where we take a deep and glorious dive into the beauty and magic of Michigan-made music, showcasing local and regional artists for a full hour every Friday at 11 a.m. on WICE 88.1 FM and online at wice.org. I'm your host, John Sinkovich, editor and publisher of the Local Spins website that's covered Michigan's music scene for the past decade, and we've got all sorts of musical goodies to entice and satiate you today. As part of the next hour, we'll also visit with a couple of members of the band Secondhand Drugs and listen to tracks from the group's brand new release. Today's show. Hello, James and Tyler from Secondhand Drugs.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to have you guys here today. Secondhand Drugs features Ryan on drums, Christian on bass, Tyler on guitar, and James on guitar and vocals. So give our listeners an idea of how this band got started and for what you guys call a regressive rock band.
Yeah, this band started with Ryan and I back in actually we kind of just decided to start playing some music together right around the time that Mellophobic started their at Turnstiles. And we got on stage one night and did it, and it popped off pretty well. So we're like, all right, let's make this a thing. And then about we had our of last year, we had our first show actually. So just about a year ago now, we had our first like real show at Mulligan's. Christian was there, been wanting to be in a band with me for a while. So he's like, yeah, I get this message a lot. This message of what you want to do, which we'll get to in a bit. He's loved it, so he's like, all right, get this band. I got Tyler on board too, and that's where we are.
You mentioned your mission. You do have some fascinating, intriguing sort of ideas as to what you want to accomplish with this band. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think everyone that we know anyway is constantly struggling with how they're going to release music and get people to hear it, and then also how they're going to make money, right? So all these things are well known to all of us. We've gotten to the point though where things like streaming services and streaming platforms, like we think they serve a purpose, but we're starting to wonder why we keep giving away our hard work to these things, right? They're using us, right, for content, for free content, basically. And so we want to try to turn it around and show people like, look, website is ours. It's not. It doesn't belong to a social media company. It doesn't belong to a streaming platform. You can come to our site. You can get all the content you want directly from us, so that we are getting the benefit of it, and you are getting the benefit of not having ads served to you and all this other kind of stuff. And so we really want to remind people, if nothing else, that like, hey, back in the day when we got started, we were burning CDs and making cassettes and printing flyers and all that kind of stuff, and now more than ever, you can own what you do. You don't even need a record label. Like, yes, we want people to hear our music, but that doesn't mean we want to just give it away and devalue it so it doesn't mean anything. We want some of the value back into music because we all put so much effort into it, not just us, but everybody we know.
It's kind of like a knowing your worth kind of thing, is that we're musicians, and sure, we don't necessarily deserve to be making millions and millions of dollars or whatever it comes to something like that, but we also know that we're worth more than like some places will pay and all that. But yeah, we get our cut from it because we did this hard work to it. It's been years in the making of practice, going to lessons, buying instruments and all this stuff. So it's like, and taking time off of work, which I do because I bartend, so I have to take my weekends off to play shows. That's my biggest days. I could be making money. I still should be compensated in some way for playing music.
Just a message about money. Like it really is. Like we would really do this for free if we could.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the culture we live in, where you have to pay for the things that you do, and it just seems more have bought into the idea of like, oh well, if I don't have it on this platform, that it's not going to succeed. Well, that's marketing. That's what Spotify and whatever wants you to know or wants you to think, right?
It's really about musicians' rights, and I think a lot of people now devalue music because they can get it for free, and because so many places don't necessarily pay what they should for music. And so I think what's happened is that sometimes people don't appreciate the art because they're not paying for it.
Right. That's a really solid point. Yeah.
Well, let's think about what you guys are up to in music you guys are creating and your art in particular, how would you describe what it is that you guys have been doing? Because it definitely has a retro quality, I have to say, and it makes me happy because this is the kind of sounds that a lot of the sounds that I grew up with.
Right on.
Yeah, it's kind words. Thank you so much. But yeah, we call ourselves like a regressive rock band because we are. The joke was that we're anti-prog. We're the reverse of prog rock because we're just playing really simple, fun, fast, loud music. Like inspirations, as I said before, like or say like the Sonics is one of the bands that I absolutely love the sound of. Like just this dirty, raw, basic sounds, and that's kind of what I play. It's just something basic and raw and simple. Keep it simple because there's no reason to complicate it.
And there's nothing against any of that type of music.
No,
like
it's still talented.
It's just that there's a certain spirit lacking in modern rock bands that, like, at least we haven't found too much of. So it's really about keeping it simple and bringing the heart back into it. As maybe corny as that might sound, but it's but like, you know, people are so into being rehearsed and so into having every note down and everything lined up on their grid and their DAW, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But the further you move down the road of technology that can help you achieve like ideas of perfection, you get away from the idea that it's really fun for four people to get into a room and you know, and express like these emotions that they're not getting out of their day job. They can only vent so much to either boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever, you know, and like there's no other way to do it than actual human connection.
Yeah.
And that's really what we want to get back to.
Yeah, Secondhand Drugs is definitely about that sloppy. Just I have more fun when I'm not trying to get right on to that set pattern. Like hit that one every time on one. Play how you feel is really what I've always said, and that's what I kind of take with this band, is that these songs are written as they feel, and they're not going to be perfect, well put together songs. They're just fun.
But although I would say that our songs are, you know, the songs that we're recording and put together pretty well, but it's like, but when you see us perform live, you might not see it performed the same way twice ever. And that's part of our aesthetic, right? Is like you come there, and however we're feeling on that night, that's the version of the music that you're going to get, you know. And I think that is incredibly enticing. That's a band that I would want to see anyway.
Well, let's give a listen to one of these new tracks, which officially they're being released today, Friday, and so for the first time anywhere, this is Secondhand Drugs and Surf and Spy for WIC1 FM. heard the premiere of a new single by the band Secondhand Drugs, which is based in Grand Rapids, though band member James now resides in the Detroit area. So to celebrate the release of your new music, you guys are playing Tip Top Deluxe Bar and Grill tonight, Friday night at 9 p.m., along with Melissa Dillon, Low Phase, and Falls Harbor. Secondhand Drugs also on December 17th for a Christmas show with Sorry Not Sorry and Another Man's Trash. So what can folks expect from your live shows? You talked about it a little bit a minute ago. What do you guys strive for when you're playing live?
Volume.
Pretty simple, just loud. It's fun. That's one joke I always made, especially when the band was first starting to play and we're still pretty loose, is someone was like, well, is it good music? I'm like, well, it's fun. And that's what we really strive for, is to have fun. And having fun on stage that's something that's easily read out by the crowd, and you can tell the crowd then has fun too.
We really feed off of each other.
Yeah.
We're honestly incredibly surprised at, the last however many shows now, like how much the crowd gets into it for our band, and we feed off of that, and it just ends up becoming a big party.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what we want.
So what's the long-term plan for the band? I mean, where do you see Secondhand Drugs in 2 years or 5 years? More recordings, more performances, touring? I'm just curious as to how you guys view what's going to happen down the road.
All of that.
Yeah, we definitely are planning to start. I think we kind of discussed it in passing, but we want to start recording or at least rehearsing down to get a full length started recording starting in April. I'm not sure of if that means we have all the songs ready for one or we just start writing for it. But yeah, we definitely want to get more music recorded.
Even if that means one song at a time, you
Yeah.
know, and please go to secondhanddrugs.com and check out the tunes, check out, the merchandise that we have, and we're going to have content on that site to eventually hopefully have, a community of subscribers and to really feel like a community. So going forward, we want to build this community. We really want to bring this message to people. We're going to keep recording, and we're going to all around Michigan a lot more, including in Detroit a lot.
Yep.
You mentioned CDs and cassettes earlier. I was just curious, when you guys do a live show, do you want to have product like that, CDs, cassettes, vinyl at some point?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we actually are going to have CDs for sale for tonight's show. We have the single recorded, and the cool thing about that too is all that was done in-house. Only thing that was not done in-house was recorded the drums at Planet Sunday Studios in Rockford.
Joel Ferguson from
Joel
Papa
Ferguson.
Vegas.
Yeah, and then the mastering was done at Electric Moon Studios. But other than that, we mixed it. We recorded it by in-house. I mean, it was done in this house.
Literally this room I'm sitting in. Yeah.
Printed off the CD covers. I took the photo of it, and
We're really going old school with it.
I printed it off. We bought some jewel cases, stuck it in there on cardstock, printed that out. Tyler burned the CDs here too. So,
and we really want people to know that the reason we're doing this is because this is us showing the effort. We really care about this.
mm-hmm.
This is not just, the same Facebook or Instagram post you see and you ignore constantly, we're not into that.
Well, let's give a listen to another track. This is TY, which stands for You Told Me. To be honest, I love you. And it's Secondhand Drugs on WICE 88.1 FM.
sell them for free until we are both all debt free. Make love on my knees. I let you do to me as you please. Get hurt would be just a tease. When we're done, we can go eat some cheese.
We just heard another track from the band Secondhand Drugs, our special guests on today's show. So when you guys made your musicians pick of the day, you mentioned a bunch of different Michigan artists, including Low Phase, Justin Stover, Channel Lakes, Rin Tarsi, and others. But one of the bands mentioned was going to have a psych rock band, Ficus. So they recently made kind of a splash with their latest EP. So what is it about these guys that impresses you?
Their music is just so, it's very 70s in style, and that's kind of my big, and just, I saw them one time, and like, was blown away, because they covered War Pigs by Black Sabbath. I don't know if they still do, but they used to end their shows with that, and it is amazing how well they do at it. And I just end up hanging out with these guys, and they're some of the nicest people I've met. I love hanging out with them. So great musicians and great friends. I'm like, I got to pick these guys. They're just awesome.
That's great. Well, thanks, guys, for being part of the show today. Good luck with the single release show tonight at the Tip Top Deluxe Bar and Grill. This is
Thank you
indeed
so
a
much.
Ficus and the track Mirage for Local Spins on WICE 88.1 FM.